Hi everyone, Brenda Gustin here, and I'm going to go over the syllabus. What I would recommend that you do is click on this link, and I'll do it right now. Click on the link. Get me out of the way. Where am I going to go? Up there. You can click download, and that will download the syllabus for you. You can print it and staple it together and put it in your 3-ring binder. So go ahead, you can stop this video and do that if you would like to make that happen. Okay, so here I am with the syllabus, and you can see my contact information right there. There's my email. You're going to be contacting me through the email frequently. There's my office, and you are more than welcome to come to my office. I'm in Schuyler Hall, and there's my office phone. Contact me. Probably the most reliable way to contact me is via email. Online students, I kind of have much different schedules than live students, so that's a great way. I'm checking my email frequently to make sure I can respond to you quickly. I do have live office hours, and you can see they're listed here on your syllabus. You can stop by, but also because I teach a lot of online courses, I have more free time in my office than just those hours. So if you want a live office hour that's not one of those, email me and we can set up a time. Same thing with virtual office hours. I have a lot of free time where I can set up virtual office hours. If you want to talk to me, we could do like a Zoom type thing. I do Google Meet, but I can send you a link. What you just do is you email me and say, I'd like to set up a virtual office hour. And you can even share your screen with me if you're having problems during the virtual office hour. I can show you how to do that. And we can talk on the computer. So again, I have all sorts of times to do that. Don't expect me to be doing it a lot on Sundays, though. I think if you're putting off your assignments until Sundays, I try to take the weekends off, just like a normal working person that works all during the week. So try to plan ahead and try and schedule times with me that are convenient for both of us. Here's the course description and the learning outcomes, and that's pretty typical for all your courses. Here's your textbook information. We are going to be using an ebook called Microbiology's Fundamentals, a Clinical Approach. And this is a new book compared to what I've been using in the past. So if you have somebody that says, tells you things about the book, they haven't used this one yet. So everything's new this semester. And you can see that it is going to be the ebook. You have to purchase the Connect access. And the college has been, or Barnes and Noble has been trying to inform you about all what we're calling First Day Complete. I know for this book, if you are part of First Day Complete, it'll cost you $100 for all materials. If you are not part of First Day Complete, I think it's like $133. So check into that. Work through the bookstore if you have questions about it, if you should be doing First Day Complete or not. I also know, I've educated myself about all this, so I might be able to help too. So let me know if you're having any issues. You will need these materials your first day of class. That being said, I would get working on this right away. Start working on it early in the week. I put a list here of help resources, and there's different resources that you can use. There's help with Brightspace, and there's a connection there. We actually have, Corning Community College has some connections to online tutoring, and you can use that. But I would start way up here. We even have the Learning Commons on campus that you can go in there and get some help. But you'll notice the very first bullet I have is, if you need help with course content, contact the instructor. That's me. Like I said, I have time set aside to be able to help students. And so if you need help, rather than go to a tutor, or something or doing something else, talk to me first. Occasionally, I remember last semester I had a student who had felt like they weren't performing as well as they could. And so they brought in their materials before a test, and we just sat down and talked about how do you plan on studying for this? How do you recognize what's important? What do your notes look like? And that student got enough help from me with that session that they ended up doing much better in the class on the subsequent tests. So I would definitely talk to me first, even if you have questions about, I don't really understand what this content's asking, or I don't know how much detail you want to know. I'm the person to ask about that. I'm the only one that's really going to know that. So do not hesitate to talk to me. I miss the student interaction when I'm doing online classes. And these are the kind of things that you would ask a live instructor if you saw them, at the beginning or end of class. So definitely come talk to me, whether it's through an email, through in my office, or through an electronic meeting. The weekly format of class. There is a calendar on. Yeah, I'll show you where it is, or it's on your Brightspace page, on the very first page that you can go to of this course, and it's on the left-hand side on the bottom. You can see a calendar that where all the assignments I make go in there. Each week, or almost every week, I'll have what we call lecture study guide, and that will be an outline of the materials that you'll be learning that week. And again, in the week 1 video, I'll show you that. I make lecture videos, and I typically try to make the videos less than 20 minutes each, and usually shorter than that. But I'll make a video for each section of the week. So I think the first week has maybe 4 different videos. You can use those lecture videos to complete the lecture study guide. If you go through the textbook and you're able to complete the lecture study guide without a video, you don't need the video. But some people like to do videos. Some people like to go right to the book and fill in the lecture study guides themselves. So you have the option to do either one. Lecture assignments. These are, I refer to them as lecture assignments, or LA in the grade book. And these are what we call adaptive learning assignments. Where did I put that? They're called adaptive learning assignments. And these, I create them through the McGraw-Hill Connect site. What they are is for each topic in lecture, I go through the chapter in the ebook, and I highlight the parts or I click the parts that you should know. And then the Connect software makes a whole bunch of questions that you can go and answer, that you should know once you've filled in the lecture assignment, once you've filled in the lecture study guide and reviewed the material. You should be able to go to the lecture assignment and answer those questions. Now, the answering the questions can be, sometimes you get it wrong, and it helps you. You can go back to the book, or it gives you links of information to look at to help you get it right next time. So the more questions you get right in the lecture assignment, the faster you'll get through the lecture assignment. That's the adaptive learning. If you get something wrong, it will give you more questions about that same topic. Now, the cool thing is it doesn't mark anything wrong. The lecture assignments, you will get 100% credit if you just complete it. If you're prepared for it, you'll do it faster than if you're unprepared for it. So you'll get the hang of those pretty quick, and they're kind of fun. Most students seem to like those. Each week you'll also have a lab handout, and it's a handout that I created that you'll see links to virtual labs from Connect. You'll also see links to videos or questions that I created or pictures I created. You'll complete those lab handouts. You'll get credit. You'll get some points for the virtual labs. And again, just like the lecture assignments, the virtual labs are from the McGraw-Hill Connect product, and you'll get full credit just for completing those. The last thing I do for most of the labs is do a lab quiz. And the lab quiz is usually questions directly off the lab handout that show that you actually did the lab handout. So you can use your lab handout to answer the questions on the lab quiz. Our exams are proctored. The lecture exams, final exams, and lab practicals are all proctored. And we'll be using a program called Respondus. And I will give you more information and a chance to practice that. But your job is to make sure that you have a computer with a webcam before you practice with Respondus. This is a big deal. Missed exams, quizzes, and late assignments. All materials for the week are due by 11:59 p.m., 1 minute before midnight, on Sundays at the end of the week, except the final exam is due at 5 p.m. on Thursday of week 15. I will remind you of that many times. Late assignments will be accepted for up to 1 week after the due date, but you're only able to earn 50% of the points. So for example, if you have a lecture assignment that's worth 10 points, but it's a day late, you can only earn 5 points on that. It's still worthwhile to do it because you need to learn the material, and 5 points is better than 0. But you'll have up to 1 week to do that. So a week after the due date, which would be 11:59 p.m., a week on a Sunday, the week after the due date, you can still earn partial credit on any missed assignments. The one exception I have to that, well, actually, there's 2 exceptions. One exception is week 1, and I'll tell you about that because week 1 we're going to extend the due date, and the final exam, the Thursday of week 15 is a hard date because I've got to hand in grades right after that. Okay, just some pointers on course notes and organization. I would get a 3-ring binder. I would print the syllabus. I'd print each lecture study guide. I'd print each lab handout, and you can fill those in. Now, if you want to fill those in using your computer, or you want to put spaces in there, fill them in by hand. The other option is to print your lecture study guide and then just attach it to a piece of notebook paper where you take your notes, and you don't even write on the lecture study guide. You figure out what works for you. But I recommend having hard copies unless you're really good at studying off the computer. But most people will need a couple sheets of paper in their hands and just use those to study. Whatever works for you. This is pretty flexible. Student withdrawal policy is the same for all classes. For a 15-week class like ours, you have to withdraw by the end of week 9. And that's to get a W instead of the grade that you earned. I don't drop students from the class. So if you just disappear and you're still on the roster at week 10, you're just going to automatically get an F in the class. Okay, so here are all the assignments that we're going to be doing this semester, everything you're going to earn points for. I put here in case you want to fill them in and keep track of it on paper. You can fill in your points. But also I keep a running tally of the grades on Brightspace, so you'll be able to see that too. Here's the grading scale and the class schedule. Where'd it go? Fell all the way down there. Oh well. Remind you again, the final exam is due at 12 noon on Thursday. Except for the final exam, all tests, quizzes, and assignments are due Sundays at 11:59 p.m. There is a lot to do. It is not recommended that you put it all off and your work all off until the weekend. If you only have the weekends to work, I always post the material by Friday, so you can work on weekend number 1, don't work all week long, and then work on the same stuff weekend number 2, but you got to overlap it with the new stuff. So it's a lot to do. I think you really need some weekdays to get to work too. So here's what we're planning on doing. Now, before I go over this in too much detail, I want to tell you I have done, like I said, I've taught this lab before. The timing works well. The lecture, I have not taught this online before in this format. So I think this is going to work. I think I'll fit in all this material in all these days. That being said, if it turns out there's just too much information for me to present in a week, I might shift this. But what I'll do is I'll just give you a new syllabus and tell you, instead of microbial nutrition and growth this week, we're going to continue it on to this week, and I'll give you an adjusted syllabus. But right now, this is what I'm going to try to do. So here it is, week 1, the start date. So this is the Monday of the week number 1. And this is the topic you're going to do. The points right here are the points that you can earn for your lecture assignment. And it will also be, you'll see it in Brightspace. You'll see that too. So these lecture assignments it looks like they're worth 5 points or 10 points, depending on the assignment. The lab topic, it's the same topic that we've written at the top of your lab handout, is right there. And you'll have all of these assignments to complete in the lab. The VL refers to virtual labs. And you'll see all of these links in this lab handout. The links will be in that lab handout. So I write them here to show you how many lab points they're worth. They're not worth a lot of lab points, but once you add them all up, it starts adding up. So, and it also teaches you certain things. So it's good to do them. You will notice that week 2, I don't have any new material. It's the same thing as week 1. I was a little concerned of getting everyone started between the new first day access with the books from Barnes & Noble and the fact that I've just, I'm in the process of creating this new version of this course. I want to make sure that there's no huge problems the first week that slow us down. And so as a result, week number 1 materials are due just like every other week on Sunday. It turns out that Sunday would be August 27th. So week number 1 materials, all this stuff right here, is going to be due Sunday, August 27th. That being said, week 2, normally you'd be able to hand these in with a 1-week bonus, a 50% decrease in the grade. I'm not doing that in week 2. For in week 2, you can finish anything that you didn't finish from week 1 without a grade penalty. So I highly recommend that you try to get all the week 1 material done by the scheduled due date, August 27th. But if for any reason you had a problem, you can't get it done, or it turned out to be a lot more work than you expected, or whatever it is, you can still hand it in during week 2 without a penalty. I think the assignments probably will say that you're late, but it's okay. I will keep track of that. I will not take points off, and I will put the grade in the grade sheet. Okay? Every other week, the week that there's the week that you start, it's going to be due that Sunday at 11:59 p.m. The following week, these assignments can still be handed in, but they're going to be considered late, and you'll get 50%, only 50% of the points. So you can see here, I have the lecture. Oops, I got to change that. So it says lab topic. Okay, lecture topic, lab topic. Okay, so I've got the lecture right here. And then notice by week 5, we have lecture exam number 1. We'll talk more about that as we get closer. We get down here, we have an October break. One of the things that I like to do is I try to get everything posted at least a week ahead of time, and or at least the Friday ahead of time. And then, and for these break weeks, I try to get them, like week 8 should be available to you at the beginning of break. So if you want to get ahead, that's a time you can do that. Every week it also has a lab, and you can see all that. So, and the lab topics. Sometimes in the syllabus, I have little hints here, do lab before taking exam 1, and that might be because there's something in lab that's being covered that is also going to be on, it's in the lecture topics of exam 1. So I try to give you a little pointers like, hey, do this lab first because it might help you on this test. Okay, so we're going down there. Let's see, where's the end of that? I don't know. Why doesn't it go down? There's a little bit more to this. It's not showing the whole thing. But anyway, we're good. That's a syllabus. It's important. Look at it, refer to it often, and I'll talk to you again soon.